Well, Rangers are still suffering from Michael Beale and his pathetic decisions to do with our club. Obviously, with the Euro squad, Beale selected the initial Euro squad, and under European regulations, they can only make three changes. Clement has announced these three changes, and thanks to Michael Beale, one of our new signings has to miss out because of the fact that Michael Beale did an absolutely garbage job of selecting that squad. Pretty positive that the damage that he has done to this club will take a little bit of time to undo. Well, like I said, we are going to talk a little bit of that Euro squad. We're also as well going to look ahead to the game today, where Rangers are obviously back home, back at Ibrox, back at a rocking Ibrox, no doubt, ready to welcome the new signings, ready to really show its support for the boys as we start the second half of this season. You know, push it on, smash it up, and hopefully, obviously, overcome that lot from across our city. Well, like I said yesterday on the video that Lorah and I released yesterday, there was 5 players for 3 places. And both Laura and I made our predictions on X. I put out as well I put out as prediction. I asked you for your views as well, and a lot of different views as to who should have been included in the squad out of these 3 players. Lots of different arguments over who should be in. Balogun in because we've got no left-sided centre back, and Davis is injured. Ridvan, obviously, you know, very highly touted, best left back at the club. Don't trust Barisic. Diamande, very talented player. Cortes, again, very talented player. Silva, we need more than one striker. Lots of different arguments over who should be included in the squad. So the decision has been taken. Now, what was interesting, I think, as well, before we get on to what the decision finally was, is that Phillipe Clement did talk a little bit about the European squad in his press conference today. And I think, you know, pretty much said that he was not happy he was not happy with the makeup of the European squad. A bit of a slight, I think, obviously on by Michael Beale, and a bit of a reference to what an absolutely shocking job Michael Beale had done in selecting that squad. I mean, look, guys, I know we shouldn't go on about him. He's gone. It's over, etc., etc. But it really, you know, is just utterly pathetic, the job that man did. And I mean, the guy is an absolute joke, an absolute joke. What Clement exactly said in the news conference today was, I was not totally aligned with how the European list was from the start of the season, so we will only have 3 changes, and the reality will be some players I would like to have in the squad there will miss out. So it's quite clear that Phillipe Clement would have liked certain players in the squad, that Clement would have liked players that are not currently in the squad to be there. Quite clearly, he is saying that the selections that Michael Beale made were very, very wrong. And I agree 100% with what Phillipe Clement has to say. Now, it has been announced that the 3 players who are going into the squad are Ridvan Yilmaz, Mohamed Diamande, and Fabio Silva. So the 2 players who miss out on the Euro squad are Leon Balogun, which is perhaps not as big a shock. But the big shock for me is the non-inclusion of talented winger Oscar Cortes. Cortes is very, very talented, very good going forward, good in transition, which you obviously get a lot of transitional play in European football. You know, very good at running at defenders, both footed, very, very, very talented, and a winger, something we don't really have an out-and-out winger. And with the fact that Abdallah Sima is injured, you know, Cortes could have really done a job. Now, I understand 100% why Ridvan Yilmaz was included in the squad. Ridvan Yilmaz is the best left back at the club. He is just a million times better than Borna Barisic. You know, at the end of the day, it really does have to be, you know, he does have to be included. And I get that. I understand that. That is spot on. But, you know, then again, Diamande, again, very highly touted coming into the club, very promising, very talented player. You know, again, he is the man. You know, he is high aspirations for him. So I can understand why he has been put in the squad. You know, we do need that bit of a box to box, that ability to take on players, but a thrust from midfield, a bit of impetus from midfield, something that Diamande will provide. Eye for a killer pass, ability to take on a shot, ability to play in players, ability to get out wide. You know, fulfill a lot of positions that he does. He can play 8, he can play 10, he can play out wide. And he's even covered at left back, for goodness sake. And That's how talented this lad is. So I can understand why Diamande's in there. Fabio Silva is included, obviously, because we only have Cyril Dessers as a fit striker at this moment in time. Looking at that original Euro squad that we had, you look at the strikers, obviously Sam Lammers has left, Danilo is out till the end of the season, Kemar Roof is out till God knows when, and even when he comes back, he'll probably pull his hamstring taking his tracksuit off. But, there is really a lack of strikers, and obviously with Abdallah Sima out as well, a lack of goals. Now, it's quite clear that there's probably been some promise made to Wolverhampton about the amount of minutes that Silva will play and the competitions that he'll play in. So I think, that is why perhaps Silva's been included to give us an extra option up front. Personally, I would have left Silva out. I think, you've got the players there in Diamande, Cortes and Ridvan that are our players, and it's about developing our players for the future. That's my personal thoughts. But obviously, I back the manager 100% with the decision he's making. He's made, even not making, that's a horrible word. The decision he has made is spot on. At the end of the day, we've got to back the manager. We've got no reason not to back the manager. He's done a fabulous job since coming into the club. He's done an absolutely brilliant job. So, look, back him 100%. Absolutely back him 100%. I think, to be honest with you, he probably did want to include Cortes. He probably also wanted to include Leon Balogun as well, who has been, probably our best player this season. Has been absolutely outstanding this season for me. So, to not include him is a real worry. It really is. Now, Clement talked a little bit more about this selection. What he said was, he was clear about why he'd made certain decisions, but look, I do feel for the guy. I really do. The fact that he's been screwed over by the fact that, again, we're suffering the remnants of the Beale era. Like I said, I don't think it can be underestimated the damage that man has done to this club. Clement said, in terms of the rule about being able to change three, he says, I'm not happy with the rule. The rule is the rule for all the teams. I understand the idea. I was not totally aligned with how the European list started at the beginning of the season. It is also what it is. I can only make 3 changes. That will create a few players I wanted to be on the list who cannot be. That's the reality. Sam Lammers is out, so Fabio Silva is in. Sifu is probably out, so Diamande comes in instead of him. Ridvan will come in on the list. So that means that Leon Balogun, Kieran Dowell and Cortes cannot be on the list, and that hurts me. We have been puzzling for hours with the staff these past few days, and you always come to the same conclusion. You cannot keep the balance unless you make these changes. Those are the rules. We play a game. It's like playing Monopoly at home. The rules are there. I am not making them. I am the coach of the players, and these are the rules. You need to take all of this into account, even for the future, how you balance your squad. That's why it's important to work hard with your academy to develop players. It is a responsibility of top teams in this league to get the best out of their young players, give them chances. You can make them ready for the steps forward. It's crucial we develop our own Scottish talent. Also see where Scottish talent is in other clubs. It's a big challenge. The players must know what they have to do. We need to make sure they are a good physical level and they have the connection together. It's about moving together as a team. They need to be mentally ready too. So perhaps an indication in those comments that some of those B-list players, some of those players that are coming up from the youth team, the Bailey Rices, the John Lee Yefekos, the Zach Lovelaces, who obviously will be on that B list, could well be included and played at some point. He did actually mention Zach Lovelace in his presser today, which was interesting, which I will talk about shortly. But, it is for me a bit of a surprise that Cortes is not in there. But, as the manager says himself, he can only make those 3 changes. And the fact that he is not able to include Dowell, Cortes, and Balogun. I mean, Dowell, I think, is a very unlikely inclusion given his injury and the fact that he's had surgery and the fact that he will be out for a length of time. But the fact that he cannot include Leon Balogun, who has been a mainstay of Phillipe Clement's defence, and Oscar Cortes, who he clearly rates very highly, given the fact that he's a player that's coming in this transfer window, that those 2 players can't be included, does, as he says, hurt him. And I think it is unfortunate. Personally, I would have loved to include all 5 of them. I think all 5 of those players deserve a spot on that Euro squad. Cortes is clearly an exciting talent. Leon Balogun is our best defender. Ridvan Yilmaz is our best left back. Diamande is a very promising and upcoming talent. You look at those players in Fabio Silva, we need more than 1 striker. I think the rule is ridiculous. I think, once you get through that knockout stage, you should be allowed to completely change your squad if you want to. It's a different part of the competition. I think it's a ridiculous rule. But like I said, it is very much down to the fact that Michael Beale has pretty much fucked it up, I think is the best way of terming it. Well, let's move on, obviously, to today's game. Rangers take on Livingston at Ibrox, a 3:00 kickoff, just as God meant it, football as it was meant to be played. Now, we look at this weekend's fixtures. Celtic are first up against Aberdeen at Pittodrie. No doubt, again, another complete and utter surrender upcoming by Aberdeen. Aberdeen obviously sacked their manager during the week. Now, they haven't replaced their manager as of yet. But hey, you know what? It doesn't really matter who's in charge, does it? They always bend over and give Celtic exactly what they want. That's just a fact. Celtic could be as much as 8 points clear going into the game against Livy at Ibrox tomorrow. Dundee play Hearts tomorrow, probably a victory there for Hearts. I would say Hibs v St Mirren, that's probably a draw. Motherwell v Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock, I think, will win that game. Kilmarnock have really strengthened in this window with signings of Greg Stewart and Kevin Van Veen. Rangers Livingston, as we obviously will talk about, and Ross County take on St Johnstone, a real cellar dweller battle at the county there. So, you look at the table going into tomorrow's game. Rangers sitting second there behind that lot from across our city on 52 points. They're on 57. Like, they could be on 60. Well, there's no could be about it. They will be on 60 points come 3:00 when we come to play against Livy. Let's face it, Aberdeen are going to lie down and give up anyway, aren't they? So, but we know that Aberdeen come Tuesday night will be prime Barcelona crossed with Brazil 1970 when they come to play us, because as even Graham Roberts said in the past, they're only ever up for games against us. They cheat their fans. Rangers do need the victory tomorrow. We need to keep the pressure on. We have we have a pretty good home record, 8 wins, no draws, weirdly, and 2 defeats against Aberdeen and that lot from across the city. An excellent defensive record at home, conceding only 7 goals. Only scoring 22 goals, which is some 6 less than that lot from across the city. So it is a must-win game, a game where we really must keep the pressure on at the top. And, we're going to have to cut that lead back to 5 points to make sure that we are obviously only 5 points behind with that game in hand, so that when we can hopefully win that game in hand, we go to only 2 points, making that all firm game in April all the more important. Now, you look at Livy, Livingston sitting rock bottom of the table. Not good at all this season, not doing very well at all. You've got to really feel for Davy Martindale. I like Davy Martindale, don't get me wrong, but his team are in dire straits. They're 6 points behind second bottom Ross County. They have won only 1 game away from home all season, 2 draws and 8 defeats. They've conceded 21, only scored single digits away from home. Their away record is pretty poor indeed. Like I said, you've got to feel for Davy Martindale, with the hand he's kind of been dealt there. You look at their last few results and the way they've kind of played in their last few games, and it's not a pretty picture really for old Livingston. So look, last time out, they drew 2-2 at home with Ross County, who was second off the bottom. Previous to that, they lost at home 4-1 to Dundee. They also lost at home to Hearts 2-1. Then their last away game, a 3-1 defeat at Fir Park against Motherwell. Prior to that, a 0-0 draw against third bottom St Johnstone. Previous to that, a 2-0 defeat at Celtic, a 2-1 defeat at Aberdeen, a 0-0 at home against Kilmarnock, and a 1-0 home defeat to Hibs, a 1-0 away defeat to Livy. You go back over their previous away games, and they haven't really lost their away games other than that Motherwell game by a great deal of goals. So they're clearly no mugs. They will come. You've got to kind of feel that as a team they will come in, they will low block, they will do what they can to frustrate Rangers, to break the game up. And it's all about Rangers moving the ball with speed, about varying the points of attack, about playing those little balls into the channels, about working the width, about using all the weapons that we have. Now, this is kind of influencing why I've made the team selection that I have. Now, this is my team for tomorrow. I don't think this is a team that Clement will go with. I don't think that we will see any of the new signings from the start. Now, Phillipe Clement talked in his news conference today about the fact that Cortes is good to go, ready to go. But Obviously, he's not a manager who just throws players in there. He likes to bring them off the bench and bleed them in gradually. So I can't see the new signings starting tomorrow. He did talk about the fact that Diomande will need time to get up to speed. His last game was the end of November. I think Diomande will be a slightly longer term project. I don't think we may even see him play tomorrow. We may, if we do, it'll be 5-10 minutes here off the bench as they seek to bring him back up to full fitness. So I do think that Diomande will not be seen tomorrow. Now, this is my team for the game tomorrow. Obviously, Jack Butland in goal, I think, picks himself. Outstanding goalkeeper, best goalkeeper in Scotland. Right up there, I think, with Alisson, who is the best keeper in Britain at this moment in time, best keeper in the world at the moment, Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper. Back four, for me, I'm going with James Tavernier at right back. I'm putting John Souttar in ahead of Connor Goldson for two reasons. Number one, John Souttar is in absolutely excellent form at this moment in time. You look at the last few games, he's been absolutely brilliant. Connor Goldson was absolutely dreadful against St Mirren. Was off the pace, gave away stupid free kicks. His passing was poor. Just didn't look at it at all. And the second reason being is that him and Souttar and Balogun looked absolutely brilliant together against Hibs. Absolutely rock solid. So for me, Souttar and Balogun to start tomorrow at central defence. Ridvan Yilmaz got to start left back. You cannot put Borna Barisic in there. It's got to be Ridvan Yilmaz. He carries a threat down that left-hand side. Dujon Sterling and John Lundstrom start for me in front of the back four. Why Dujon and John Lundstrom? It gives John Lundstrom a bit more license to get forward, I think. The manager talked, didn't he, from what Lunny was saying about wanting Lunny to take more shots on, to take more responsibility. And plus, Lunny's passing and his penetrative passing around the box has been excellent in the last two games. The assist for the Ridvan goal, the assist for the Dessers goal, absolutely superb. Plus, Dujon is more like destroyer. Dujon looked excellent. Dujon is probably one of our best midfield players now. So for me, has to play. McCausland on the right. Look, you can't play Scott Wright there. Cortes, I think, will come on at some point, but I don't think he starts him. So for me, Ross McCausland comes from the right. Rabbi Matondo from the left. A lot of people have been slaughtering Rabbi Matondo rather unfairly, I think. He needs time to get back up to fitness. He needs time to get back up to match sharpness. Who else do you play out there? Silva's not a winger. I don't think Clement sees him as a winger. You heard Clement talking in the presser today about him being that centre forward, that striker that he's talked about him being a striker. He doesn't see him as a winger. So I don't think that he's going to put him out there. So Matondo over Scott Wright, Matondo over, who else is there? You can't play Dujon Sterling on the left wing because it didn't work in the last game. We're at home. We need to be more attacking. So for me, Matondo plays out there. I'd put Tom Lawrence in the 10 role tomorrow because Cantwell's been just genuinely dreadful. Other than that goal he scored against Hibs has been genuinely dreadful in the last two games. Needs a bit of a kick up the backside. Been dropped. Could do that. And I'd start Fabio Silva up front. Now, before you all go, it's because you hate Dessers. It's not because I hate Dessers. It's because Fabio Silva's movement and ability to drag players out of position is better than Cyril Dessers. His movement is very good. Dessers' movement is poor. One thing against the low block you need is someone to move the defence around, to create gaps for midfield runners. Fabio Silva does that. Go back to the Hibernian game. Re-watch the Hibernian game. Watch what Silva does. The fact that he doesn't stay static in the middle. He's kind of, in a way, Morelos-like in the way that he works the whole back four, not just the central defenders. He moves out wide. He moves wide left. He moves wide left. He drops back into the midfield to drag defenders up and out. He's very Morelos-like in that way of playing. So for me, that's why I play Silva tomorrow, because Livingston will low block. And against the low block, you need someone who's going to move defenders around. That, for me, is Fabio Silva. And I think that will therefore give chance for the likes of Lawrence, the likes of Lunny, the likes of McCausland, the likes of Matondo to run in behind that defence. And that's why I'm using Fabio Silva in place of Cyril Dessers. Just a personal feeling. Like I said, I went back, looked at the Hibs game, looked at what he does, looked at his movement, looked at his ability to move the defence around. Like I said, kind of Alfie-like in the way he works the back four over. So that is why I'm using him. That's why I think he should start tomorrow. And also the fact that, this is a player we've got here. It's on loan. He's a £35 million player. We need to be using. We need to be getting the best out of him. So for me, Silva starts tomorrow. Will it be an easy game? No, it's not going to be an easy game. It should be an easy game, but it won't be, because they will come, they'll raise their game, they'll break the game up as much as they can, they'll slow it down as much as they can. they'll try and low block as much as they can. That is what Livy will do, because that's what they know they need to do, because they know they can't come and outplay us. They know that if they come and try and play football against us, they will get absolutely slaughtered. But it is a game when we need to start taking our chances, putting the ball in the back of the net, boosting that goal difference, doing something against this Livingston team, who are, after all, rock bottom of the SPFL. Well, guys, look, that's where we are up to. Prediction for tomorrow, I'm going 3-0 Rangers. First goal scorer, Fabio Silva. That's my prediction for tomorrow's game. Now, we've got a very busy day here on the channel tomorrow, so please come and join us. We'll have the Breaking Team News podcast live. We've also got the game live stream as well, and obviously the reaction video as well. So obviously keep checking out. The best way to make sure you don't miss out on that content is to hit the sub and ring the notification bell. Help the channel to keep on growing. Come and join myself, obviously, and Lorah, to help this channel keep on growing. Obviously, lorahhatton now on board with the channel. Absolutely superb. Real Rangers fan, real knowledgeable Rangers fan. One who hasn't got a head in the clouds, really is focused on, what is actually going on at the club. Well, thank you so much for joining us, as always. And on the way out, I asked two things of you. Number one is to smash the like. And number two is to remember always, we are the people.